Hey guys, Rob Shoecraft here with Three Storm Fitness. Before I say another word, I'm just going to acknowledge that I know this video is going to be super long because I have a lot to talk about and in my opinion it's all important. So, if you want to jump around, first of all, I do recommend you watch the whole thing, and I'll explain that in a second. But if you want to jump around, I'm going to timestamp all the different exercises down in the bottom, so you can do it that way if you like. All right. That being said, we're going to talk a little bit about some grappling today, specifically Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, although this can also apply to really any sort of wrestling game where you're going upside down, right? Now, I haven't done the exercises yet, and I was in the car for 8 hours yesterday, so I might get hurt. But where you're back in this kind of position here, right? You're inverted. You're back on your shoulders, basically. I have basically no inverted guard game. Sometimes I might, if I'm like in a turtle position, I might do like a bastardized Granby roll to get out of it. That's about the extent of my inversion. But this, and if you're like me, that might apply to you as well. But anybody really who's in a jiu-jitsu school has probably experienced where you go in to do a warm-up and okay, everybody's doing side rolls or Granby rolls or whatever. And you're like, oh crap! Like I'm too tight. Like, first of all, they're kind of hard. They're kind of tricky to do technique-wise. But if you have a problem somewhere in your spine or your hamstrings or your hip flexors or your shoulders or your neck, whatever, it's all kind of related. We'll talk about that. Then this applies to you too, right? You got to go inverted just to get through a warm-up, right? So if you're having problems, first of all, the whole thing, if your doctor's telling you not to go upside down, don't go upside down. Or on your back or whatever. Listen to your doctor, listen to your physical therapist. But if you're still here and you want to listen to me, let me qualify/disqualify myself. I am a personal trainer. I'm a jiu-jitsu practitioner. I've been doing it for about 5 years now. And I've been teaching white belt curriculum, like fundamental stuff. And I've seen a million problems with both personal training and in jiu-jitsu where folks just it just hurts. People hurt themselves sometimes doing this. Just a few months ago, I was doing a lot of front squats the day before. I went back into a back roll just as part of my warm-up. I was doing like rolling V-ups, which I'll show you, and I popped my rib out. Like, I've done rolling V-ups, I've done 1 trillion of them, and yet I popped my rib, right? And so this is I'm going to give you a huge list of things. We're going to basically work from the neck all the way down to the feet because it could be any number of problems. And before you jump around down in the description, you say, well, it hurts my lower back, so I want to find the lower back stuff. It might be that you're experiencing lower back pain, but chances are pretty good that it's not your lower back that is the problem, or at least not the entire problem. All right, it could be something where, say, let me give you a non-related example. A lot of people have problems with lunges or split squats, right? You might even do these in jiu-jitsu when they're hurting. Well, let me give you a freebie here. If your knee hurts, very, very common, front knee hurts. First thing I'm going to check is ankle flexion. I want to make sure you can go forward like that while keeping your heel on the ground. Because if your ankle doesn't have the flexibility that it needs, and you're forcing it to go down and up, heaven forbid you have weight, you have a barbell on your back, well, by forcing it to do that, that stress has got to go somewhere, and it's probably going to go into the knee because the ankle is just going to do whatever it can, right? So that strain, something's got to give, right? Same thing on your back. Mainly what we're dealing with here is the spine. And I'm not going to give you a spinal anatomy lesson, but let's say you have tight hamstrings, right? And you're rolling back, you're going back into this position, and your hamstrings, man, they're super, super tight, but gravity, you got that little start, gravity has already made up its mind, you're going, okay? So your hamstrings, maybe you don't pull your hamstrings there. Maybe your upper back catches the brunt of the force. Or maybe your upper back squeaks by. And now it's moving up to your mid-back or your upper back, right? It's all connected to your neck. A problem with your neck can cause problems in your feet. Vice versa. So while you're welcome to jump around, I do recommend you go through the whole thing at least once, and you can kind of get a good idea on what it is you need to work on. Hopefully, that's my intention anyway. Okay, I want to give you some stuff to work on. This is by no means comprehensive, although it will feel like that, especially since, again, it's going to be very long. But there are a million other exercises you could do. All the exercises we're going to do today are basically going to be with a lacrosse ball. Maybe a peanut kind of configuration of 2 lacrosse balls if you have one. If you don't worry about it. But if you have bands and things like that for stretching, getting into some real gnarly positions, you have a million exercises to work with. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started because I don't want to talk anymore without doing something. Okay, so first thing, this is going to sound a little crazy, but first thing we're going to do, I should probably be getting up to the base, right? This is a jiu-jitsu video. First thing we want to do is smash our feet. I've talked about smashing feet a lot. I got this little tip. Now I know you're thinking, why would we smash our feet, right? Well, real quick, your whole body is covered, is basically it holds its shape with something called fascia. Okay? If you like cut into a steak and you see that like white webbing, the stuff that's not fat, that's fascia. Okay? Well, you have fascia at the bottom of your feet. And that fascia, what is it called? It's called the superficial backplane, right? And it runs from the bottom of your feet all the way up through your hamstrings, glutes, back, all the way up behind your eyebrows, right? So this is a little Joe DeFranco tip I picked up. He always starts his athletes by smashing their bottom of their feet, because if you loosen that up and there's restrictions to the bottom of your feet like your plantar fascia, this will also help with plantar fasciitis, by the way, help me anyway, then you're going to help, potentially anyway, again, this is a shotgun approach, potentially you can loosen up your calves, your hamstrings, your lower back, and so on and so on. So take a lacrosse ball, it could be a water bottle, it could be any number of things. I've done this with PVC pipe, and you're going to smash, sit down if this is too intense, but you're going to smash all around your feet, right? I like to spread my toes out and really hammer it. I like to go side to side, all the way to where like your heel meets your arch. Smash your heel too, right? Inside, just get everything. Sometimes I like to do like a little stretch on the ball. I think you can see that. Stretch my toes out. Do that for a minute or two on each foot. With, again, lacrosse ball is usually what I use for that, but you can use any number of things. All right. That's going to have kind of some global results. Then we're going to go all the way up the chain by the neck. I want to have you, hopefully you can see this okay. This will just have to do. I'm going to have you take a lacrosse ball. You can like put it in a door jamb or something, or this is a power rack, any number of things. Take that lacrosse ball, drive that trap, upper trap. These things are Goldberg muscles, right? If you're familiar with him. Right, the Goldberg muscles, you want to smash them real good. Just drive into this thing. Try to relax. Do all these smashing techniques, this SMR stuff, self-myofascial release. The more you can relax, the better. So just try to chill out. It's going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable. And get in there, okay? You see, these muscles are all connected to your neck. And if your neck is goofy, well, first of all, you can screw your neck up. Your neck is tight. But again, it's all related. So go ahead and give yourself a smash, right, on both sides of your traps. Do that for another minute or two. This is going to take a little while, so maybe schedule a little vacation around this if you want to. So we got a foot smash, we got a trap smash. Now we're going to take this peanut. Now what I have here is basically 2 lacrosse balls with a magnet in the middle. This is called a mag mobility ball or mobility mag ball. I can't remember which one it is. A dude sent me this probably 2 years ago to do a review on, and I really love this thing. It works very well. It has many applications. I'll link to it in the bottom. You don't have to have this though. I mean, you could. There are a million little devices like this that have basically two balls connected. I can't say 2 balls without laughing. 2 balls connected. Before I got this thing, I used to take 2 lacrosse balls and just duct tape them together. That works fine. Okay. You're going to start. You could also use just one at a time. It'll just take you twice as long. So we got these muscles running all the way up and down our spine on either side, our erector spinae or spinal erector muscles. We want to kind of loosen those up a little bit. That's where our ribs also connect around our rib cage. So you want to start, I'm going to start on the neck, right here, right underneath my suboccipital lobes. By the way, you can hit your suboccipital lobes, basically right above where your neckline is, where your skull meets your neck. There's these two little things that hurt like heck when you press them. Oftentimes, like, it might be reminiscent of a really bad tension headache or even a migraine if you press in on those. You can start with those if you want, especially if you get tension headaches. It can help out. So we'll start there, and we're going to work our way down. Kind of go back and forth. Be careful, you don't want to hit your spine. You want to hit the muscles surrounding your spine, right? So you're going to go all the way down, in between. Be careful when you kind of hit that part of your neck, right? You're going to go down. Get you a better angle here. Loosen all that crap up. Oh, right around the scapula, the shoulder blades can get kind of nasty. You can take one side and sort of hammer that a little bit, open up the other side, drive in. Foam roller works well for that area too. If you want to get a foam roller and do these side to side like that, really hammer the shoulder blades. Work your way down, back and forth, as much pressure as you can stand. Okay, all the way down. We're not going to do our lower back. We want to do where the rib cage ends. Okay, so you want to go down to where you're basically down to where your mid back meets your lower back, right around here. Okay, don't want to really smash your lower back. I'm not a big fan of that. Mainly because a lot of times when you're smashing something, forces your muscles to contract. If you're having serious lower back problems in the first place, and you contract real hard while you're already in that lordotic position, you're already in that curved position, you can really kind of screw something up. So I don't feel comfortable recommending people do that, because there's other things you could do to kind of address your lower back, and we'll talk about that. So spend a couple minutes with either 1 or 2 lacrosse balls or a peanut, hitting the spinal erector muscles. Okay. Then you're going to do something called a glute smash, piriformis smash. Basically, you have all this stuff right here, kind of where your hips and your glutes intersect, and that can get really tight. And when that gets tight, it can create tension on your lower back. You create tension in the hips. So we're going to relieve some of that. You're going to take the lacrosse ball. You're going to put it right on the outside corner of the hips where your butt meets. You're going to take one leg, the leg that you're working, the side that you're working, put it over your knee, kind of in this like triangle position here. This is a jiu-jitsu video, so I could use jiu-jitsu terms. Okay, and you want to just grind in on that. If you haven't done this before, it's probably going to suck. Okay, so really get in there, and if you want, you can kind of, if you have good control of your butt muscles, you can flex them, and then relax. Flex them, try to go a little deeper. Deeper and deeper. When you contract, and then you relax, it allows you to relax a little bit more. Do that on both sides for, again, another minute or 2. The whole purpose of, like, you're going to hear me say like 1 or 2 minutes. It's for something called viscoelasticity. Viscoelasticity of connective tissue. Some people say that, like Kelly Starrett, a guy I'm a big fan of, Kelly Starrett, Trevor Bachmeyer with the Smashworks channel. If you watch any of his stuff, he's always saying 2 minutes. Do it for 2 minutes. Do it for 2 minutes. It's because it's commonly accepted that it takes about 2 minutes for a muscle to change, not necessarily muscle, but connective tissue to change its shape. So if you're working on your posture, which is basically what we're doing right now, it can take up to 2 minutes to really set yourself properly. So that's the point of these times. Truthfully, man, if you just do this for like 30 seconds, it's probably going to be a lot better than what you're doing before. But to really get in there and make a difference, at least one time I would go through and do everything for 2 minutes. Like I said, bring a lunch. All right, so we've done the glute smash. Now we're going to go behind the knee. Now the reason for behind the knee is because your hamstrings intersect behind your knee with your calf muscles, okay? So you got this little deal with your hamstrings. So we're going to take the lacrosse ball, put it behind the knee, you're going to grab a hold, and you're just going to, I like to do like some ankle circles, and just hit all those spots. So kind of move it from the inside of the knee all the way to the outside of the knee, and in the middle as well. Take your time on that. Do it about 2 minutes each side. Okay, and again, that's just kind of start loosening up the hamstrings and any potential, kind of the top of the restriction in the calves. If you want, take it a step further, a little bonus. You could take a foam roller, and this is like a little $6 thing I found in all these impulse buy, right? Foam roller, get on top of this thing and just smash the crap all the way from the heel cords, like your Achilles tendon area, all the way up to underneath the knee, and it's a doozy. You can do that too. That might help. That will help, but this video is long enough as it is. Then we want to smash the hamstrings. Hamstrings, you could use the foam roller. I'm not that big of a fan. I just don't think it does that good of a job. So what you could do is take the lacrosse ball. Hopefully that doesn't fall over. And a bench or a chair, put the lacrosse ball underneath here. Sit down on it and just roll side to side, all the way up from where your butt connects with your hamstrings, all the way down to right above the knee. Just go side to side, really grind against the grain there, right? When I say against the grain, your muscles, in this case anyway, tend to be vertically aligned, or at least kind of at a diagonal. So you're going against the grain, side to side, really getting in there, right? Find a good position there. The harder the chair, the better. So, now your hamstrings are nice and supple. Wonderful. Oh, I got 5% battery remaining. I gotta get quick. Okay. Then, so we did the glute smash. Glute smash, we did the hamstring roll. I would recommend you roll your quads too. Now, the reason I recommend you roll your quads is because we're gonna be working on the hip flexors a little bit. And to stretch your hip flexors, sometimes your quads get in the way if you're super, super tight. So do a quad smash. All the way up, kind of this little pocket where your hip hits your pelvis. We get that little ball and joint activity going on there. Got something around there called your TFL, right? We want to get it in that position, right in that pocket there. You can use a lacrosse ball too if you hate yourself. And you go side to side, really smash the crap out of that. Kind of move your leg back and forth when you find a nasty spot, okay? And then work your way down, all the way down. Try to relax, going against the grain. The more you can relax, the better, all the way down to the knee. Back and forth a few times, maybe 1 or 2 minutes each leg. Okay, that's going to help take some restriction out of your quads so you can really open up your hip flexors when we do that. All right, you're nice and supple now. Stealing a term from Kelly Surratt, Supple Leopard. Great book, check it out. That's where I got a lot of this stuff. All right, now we want to stretch a little bit. I want to start by stretching the neck out. A lot of good neck stretches, but one you could do without anything is, I could pretend like this is like a smooth criminal kind of thing. So pretend like I got like a hat here, and I'm just gonna pull. I'm gonna tuck my chin. That's very, very important. If you don't tuck your chin, you're just pulling on your neck, and you can probably feel back pain. Sometimes if you do like a front roll, you just have your neck out like this rather than tucked, right? You could get a lot of tension all the way down the spine. Again, it's all connected. So tuck your chin, pull down, and just stretch that out. I kind of pull down and to the side. Hold that. You could go 2 minutes. You could go, I like to just say 15 really deep belly breaths, right? That usually ends up being about a good time. Plus, it teaches you to kind of relax under the tension, okay? So, every time you exhale, try to get a little deeper into the stretch. Okay, 1 to 2 minutes each side of the neck. Then we're going to do Pnf Hamstring Stretch, one of the best hamstring stretches. Now this is going to be especially helpful. This is turning out to be like, I don't know what this video is. It started off as Inversion BJJ. It's all connected, but okay, real quick anatomy lesson. All right, if you have anterior pelvic tilt, right, that means your hips, your pelvis is tilted forward. So you might look, this is like an exaggerated version, right? You see that? My pelvis is tilted forward and it's going up in the back, okay? When you do that, when you're in that position all the time, kind of see people walking around like this, might be you. It's very common. Your hip flexors get short. We're going to address that. The opposite of that is posterior pelvic tilt, right? When you're now your pelvis is tilted underneath. folks tend to have shortening of the hamstring, shortening of the glutes, and therefore they're very, very tight. So if you have posterior pelvic tilt, you're almost guaranteed to have tight hamstrings. A great way to address tight hamstrings, put one foot up on a bench or a couch or something, square your hips up so you're nice, even lying here. Lock that knee out. Not lock it out super hard, you don't want to hurt your knee, but you don't want it to be straight either. So the knee is, or the leg is straight, okay? Hips are square. You want to go big exhale all the way down. Don't bring that knee up, okay? You're cheating yourself. All right, all the way down. Get into it as far as you can go. You want to hold it for a second, and then you want to drive your heel into the bench or whatever you're on, activating those hamstrings. Not super hard, about 50%, give or take. Hold that for about 7 seconds, and then relax. Okay? Then go back down, back into it. Try to go even deeper this time. Hold it for a second. Fight just a little bit. Activate those hamstrings for about 7 seconds. Relax. Okay? Then try to go a little deeper. Do that about 3 to 5 times on each leg. One of the best hamstring stretches you can do, in my opinion. Okay? So we got a hamstring stretch, we got a neck stretch, couch stretch. Now this is for those tight hip flexors out there. It's called a couch stretch because you can do it on a couch. So you're going to take a couch or a bench or whatever, you're going to put your foot up on the bench, you got one leg out, and you're going to start in this position, kind of a hinged. You're hinged at the hips, and you're going to squeeze your glute, and you're going to drive up into an upright position. And we're stretching all this stuff here. Now the reason we roll the quads is because a lot of people's quads are super tight. So they're only stretching their quads in this case, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but we're really after the hip flexor. So you squeeze that butt, contract, relax a little bit, drive back into it. You want to hold that for about 2 minutes. Really open up the hip flexors. If that's just not working for you, I have another video for stretching the hip flexors. I could go over all sorts of different variations. Check that video out in the description. Give it a shot. Very, very important stretch. For those with lower back pain, it's often linked to tight hip flexors. So that's the reason we're doing it. I know this is the front of your body. I realize that. But I promise you it makes a difference in many, many cases, okay? So stretch those hip flexors if they're tight. And then lastly, we'll do like a twisting stretch. I don't know what these are called. People in yoga probably screaming at me for this. We want to get down in this position, kind of like a forward lunge position. One hand on the floor, and you want to open up your chest. Hold that position. This is a great one if you have a band to kind of keep you, band connected back behind me. So I open up, basically I open up my thoracic spine. And I get about 15 deep breaths in that position. The reason we're mobilized, the reason we're stretching and mobilizing forward and backward and side to side is because when we're rolling, you never know what kind of position you're going to be in. It's not just going to be straight forward or straight back or straight side to the side. It's going to be all sorts of different angles and wackiness. So we need to kind of prepare our bodies for all of it. That's why. Okay? Now let's move on to kind of anchor it. We're going to do some exercises to sort of make this stuff stick. Starting with the neck. I know this is going to, I'm going to lose my battery here in a second. Starting with the neck. You guys have probably done this before. Great exercise. Hey guys, sorry about that. My phone died. I had to go get a charger. I'm glad it did though, because I forgot something very important. I wrote it down too. I just freaking overlooked it. I'm going to smash my guts real quick. I've talked about this on this channel several times. It helps with back pain because it can address the hip flexors. Your hip flexors run all the way up and connect right around here on your spine, right? So just smashing on your hip sockets doesn't always do the trick. It can really help loosen up the hip flexors, thus alleviate some back pain if tight hip flexors are your problem. Another great benefit to it, I don't know about you, but if you've been like upside down in a bad position and you're kind of like, you're tight and you get that nasty cramp and you're like your rectus abdominis, your rectus damn near chilus abdominis, right? Your six-pack muscles, and they get like this bulge. You tell people this, they're like, oh, it's a hernia. It's not a hernia. It's like your muscles are just cramping, and if you know what I'm talking about, it's awful. This can help with that a little bit, okay? It can also be, you might be dehydrated, you might need more magnesium in your diet, who knows? But this can help with that kind of as a bonus. Okay, you take a medicine ball or like a little soccer ball, kid soccer ball or something, and you get down on your gut and you just try to relax. Start with the lower two quadrants. Imagine you got a quadrant here. You want to start with this side, then move up, hit all four sides. And just basically, again, try to relax. This is going to be terrible. This will also help make knee on belly a little less awful. You'll be used to it. You'll be used to it from doing it to yourself. And just relax, contract, tighten your core, and then relax. Try to go a little bit deeper. Excuse me. Hit both sides, and then move all the way up. Kind of lodge it up underneath your rib cage. It's going to be awful. It's terrible, but it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay. Do that that might take about 2-3 minutes there. So don't forget that gut smash. You can do that while you're doing all your lacrosse ball stuff, or you can do it right now. That's okay too. So let's go ahead and right before the video cut out, I talked about kind of mobilizing everything, getting it anchored, so to speak, to steal from my boy Smitty. So get down to the ground. Yes, nose. Now I got an iron neck. I love my iron neck. You can do great things with the iron neck, but not everybody has a $600 piece of home gym equipment. Still running. Stupid camera. Sorry, guys. Okay, so get down. Yes, nose. You might have done these before. Have your neck up. You're going to go side to side. That's no. Okay? 1, 2. I don't care how fast you go, but you want to make sure you control. It's not this. That doesn't do anything. Except scrambling your brain. Go side to side like that. When you do your nose, when you do your yeses rather, you're going to go tuck your chin. Again, you're not doing that. You're tucking your chin and going up. Tuck your chin like that. Okay, and then you can do maybes, kind of like side to side, tucking your chin, sort of like that stretch we did, and or figure eights. Nice and controlled. Tuck your chin when you go down. Okay? Maybe about 50 yes, 50 no's. Maybe start with 30. You know, don't freeze your neck, right? It's going to get pretty nasty if you've never done these. So maybe start with 20 or 30. Work your way up to 50. And then for the figure eights, you do about 10 on each side. That's going to help really work your, sorry, my phone's freezing again. Work your, all the musculature around your cervical spine, your neck. Okay? Then we're going to go into, this one's great. We're going to go to cat camel. Okay? Get your hands underneath your shoulders, got your hips square. I'm going to exhale as I drive kind of my mid back up to the ceiling. Inhale as I drive down. Big chest. Now I know this looks really cool. I saw a guy doing this in the showers. This guy used to do this in the showers after working out. This gym I used to go to in high school. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. The guy he was looking for a date. All right, so cat camels, do about 15, 20 of those, okay? Take your time with that. That's going to really help with your thoracic spine. I've been doing a ton of these, especially before and after front squats, which is what made my rib pop out, and helps tremendously, okay? Don't ignore the breathing part of it. That's everything. So cat camels, about 15, 20 of those. They're going to thread the needle. We're going to mobilize the mid-back on the transverse plane as well, side to side. So you're going to sit back best you can, back to your heels, put an elbow on the floor, and you can put one arm behind your back, and you're going to open that chest up. Go down. Okay? If you're feeling real frisky and flexible, you can open up, thread the needle. Okay? About 15 of those on each side. The reason we sit back toward our ankles is so if we're doing it here, then we tend to move with our lower back, and we want to isolate the mid to upper back, okay? That's why we're sitting back toward the heels. So that's threading the needle, about 15, 20 each side, and we want to help mobilize the lower back a little bit. Just a little bit, we're going to go easy on it. This is called a bent knee iron cross. I got this as one of my favorite exercises from Joe DeFranco's Limber 11 routine. Highly recommend that, I'll link to it. Okay, lay down on the ground, head on the floor, about lower legs about perpendicular, about a right angle right here, perpendicular or parallel to the floor rather, perpendicular to each other. You're gonna lower your knees down, knees together, lower them down, nice and easy toward the floor. Look in the opposite direction of your knees. Back up, nice and easy. This isn't supposed to be like a super hardcore oblique core busting routine. This is just to mobilize your lower back. You'll probably get a lot of pops. Go about 20 of these, okay? About 10 side to side. Don't forget to breathe. Nice and easy. If it hurts to go down too far to the floor, stop early, bring it back. Don't force anything. And lastly, we're going to get inverted. Finally, rolling V-ups. Another great thing from that limber 11 routine. You're going to start with your legs out, toes up, ankles dorsiflex, okay? You're going to rock back nice and easy, as far as you can go. Bring it back when you come up, feet apart, drop down as low as you can go. From the side, it looks like this. Can you see me? Good. All right. For those of you who have trouble with that, again, you do not want to force this. Some of you might be here. Okay, you might be here. Going back up. That's okay. I don't recommend that you start putting a lot of cycles into your inversion guard at this point. If you can't get into this position, then you're not going to be able to do much without screwing yourself up. So, you can sort of use that as an indicator for whether or not you're ready. As far as your physiology, your jiu-jitsu game might not be ready. I can't speak to that. Okay, so you're going to rock back. So it's just going to look like this. Kind of put it all together. That's correct. Hang on. You're just trying to go a little bit lower and lower each time. Again, if you stop right here, you can't go any further. Don't force it. Just bring it back. It's like rhythm. It's like a little pirate ship, right? Once you feel good with that, if you want, you can start now doing some inversion drills, right? You can rock back, do the same thing. Come back up. This time, go over your left shoulder like that. Bring it back. Not onto your neck, onto your upper back, on your shoulders rather. Back there, and then you kind of string it all together. Go back and just walk. Right? And that's it, guys. Super easy, only like 14 hours to do. You'll fix all your problems. You'll be tapping your professor in no time. Be ready for Worlds. I'll see you out there. I'll be the guy with the popcorn. All right, guys. If you have any questions, I know it's a ton of information, but I really wanted to do like a huge, I know I said it wasn't comprehensive, but it's pretty freaking comprehensive. I wanted to kind of just attack everything. So hopefully this helps you out. I really hope it does. If you got some other favorites or some other ways that you help get your, I guess it's a lot more than the back, your body in shape to go upside down with, 300-pound person trying to choke you on top of you, let me know. Like I said, these are not all the exercises. These are just some of my favorites. So, again, check the description. I'll put timestamps on all this stuff, break it down. And please subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Please have a great day. Thanks. Tap often.